Dark secrets, twisted minds, and a past that cuts deep. Sharp Objects will leave you reeling with every sharp turn. Sharp Objects follows Camille Preaker, a journalist from Chicago, as she returns to her small hometown of Wind Gap, Missouri, to cover the murders of two young girls. Camille's return forces her to confront her troubled past, including her dysfunctional family, personal traumas, and haunting secrets buried in the town. Camille Preaker, a complex protagonist. Camille is a recovering alcoholic with a history of self-harm, which she hides beneath long sleeves and trousers. Her self-inflicted scars include words carved into her skin, reflecting her psychological pain. Professionally, she works for a struggling newspaper, and her editor, Curry, sees the Wind Gap story as an opportunity for her to prove herself. Reluctantly, Camille agrees, despite dreading her return to a town filled with painful memories. Wind Gap, a town of secrets. Wind Gap is a small, insular town where gossip spreads quickly, and everyone knows everyone's business. The town has been shaken by the recent murder of two preteen girls, Ann Nash, who was strangled and had her teeth removed, and Natalie Keene, who suffered a similar fate. The eerie similarities between the murders suggest the work of a serial killer. Camille's investigation brings her into contact with Wind Gap's residents, including the grieving families, suspicious townsfolk, and the local police. Her probing questions are often met with hostility, as many in the town are wary of exposing the truth. Camille's family dynamics. Camille stays at her family's mansion with her mother, Audora Krellin, her stepfather, Alan, and her much younger half-sister, Amma. The Krellin household is suffocating, dominated by Audora's manipulative and controlling presence. Audora is a socialite obsessed with appearances and perfection, and her relationship with Camille is cold and dismissive. Amma, in contrast, is a dual personality. She acts like a sweet and obedient child at home but is a rebellious and manipulative teenager in town. She leads a group of girls who bully others and engage in risky behavior. Despite her cruelty, Amma craves Camille's attention, and the two develop a complicated bond. The investigation, clues and dead ends. Camille begins interviewing people connected to the victims and discovers unsettling details about their lives. Both Anne and Natalie were perceived as tomboys and misfits, which made them targets of bullying. Camille learns that Anne had a habit of biting people, and Natalie was known for her defiance and aggression. She also meets Detective Richard Willis, a Kansas City officer assigned to assist the local police. Richard and Camille form a tentative partnership, both professionally and romantically. Richard shares his frustration with the Wind Gap police, particularly Chief Vickery, who seems more interested in preserving the town's image than solving the murders. Camille's traumas resurface as Camille investigates. She is haunted by memories of her deceased sister, Marion, who died when they were children. Marion was sickly and spent much of her life bedridden, cared for obsessively by Audora. Camille begins to suspect that Audora's caregiving may have contributed to Marion's death, a suspicion that deepens her mistrust of her mother. Camille's self-destructive tendencies resurface under the pressure of the investigation. She drinks heavily and struggles with her feelings of inadequacy and guilt. Her scars, literal and metaphorical, become a constant reminder of her pain. Revelations about Audora. As Camille digs deeper, she uncovers chilling truths about her mother. Audora suffers from Munchausen syndrome by proxy, a disorder that compels her to harm those in her care to gain attention and sympathy. This revelation explains Marion's death. Audora poisoned her daughter under the guise of caring for her. Camille realizes that Amma is also a victim of Audora's abuse. She observes Audora feeding Amma medicine that makes her sick and confronts her mother, accusing her of harming her children. Audora denies the accusations, but the evidence becomes undeniable. The killer revealed while Audora is arrested for her role in Marion's death and suspected abuse of Amma. Camille uncovers another shocking truth. Amma is the real murderer of Anne and Natalie. Amma's cruelty and desire for control led her to target the girls who refused to conform to her expectations. She killed them, removed their teeth as trophies, and staged their deaths to deflect suspicion. Camille discovers the truth after Amma moves in with her in Chicago. When another girl in the neighborhood is murdered in a manner similar to the Wind Gap killings, Camille pieces together the pattern and realizes Amma's guilt. Amma's need for attention and control, fueled by Adora's toxic influence, drove her to commit these heinous acts. The aftermath: Amma is arrested, and Camille is left to grapple with the horrors she has uncovered. She moves in with Curry and his wife, who provide her with the stability and support she desperately needs. The novel ends with Camille reflecting on her own survival and the resilience it took to confront the darkness within her family and herself. Themes and analysis: Sharp Objects explores themes of trauma, abuse, and the complexity of familial relationships. It examines how the scars of the past shape individuals and how the desire for control and perfection can lead to destructive behavior. The novel also critiques small-town dynamics, exposing the darker underbelly of gossip, secrecy, and societal expectations. Gillian Flynn's writing is sharp and unflinching, creating a tense, atmospheric story that lingers long after the final page. Sharp Objects is a masterclass in psychological suspense, with its layered characters, disturbing twists, and haunting exploration of human fragility. And remember, every story has its scars. Stay tuned for more thrilling tales on Bite-Sized Storyteller.